Welcome back to 100 Hours in Terraria Hardcore, and of course, we're playing on Master Mode. If you haven't seen the previous videos, welcome to the 100 Hours in Hardcore Challenge, where different stages of Terraria's progression are locked behind 10-hour increments. In the last 10 hours, I could beat the Empress of Light. And now I am allowed to beat the Lunatic Cultist and Moonlord, and finally defeat Terraria in Hardcore Master Mode with 100 hours. I never thought in a million years that I'd actually be standing here right now, poised to defeat the game in Hardcore Master Mode. I fully expected to have died at this point several times over. I was planning on this whole series becoming a multiple season long thing, but it's possible I'll win it right here, and even if I don't, I'm not sure I'd want to restart another 100-hour long run. This has been quite the long journey, but I must admit, the amount of downtime I've had has actually made the stress of hardcore a little easier to manage, but at the same time, that easing of tension makes me less alert to potential dangers, and that stresses me out more. It's a vicious cycle. Like I mentioned in the previous 10 hours, I believe the pillars will be the most dangerous part of this portion of progression. Moonlord is tough, but once you figure him out, he can be taken down easily enough with the right setup. My only problem is that every time the moment before Moonlord spawns, my mind goes blank and I forget who and where I am, but I'm confident it'll be fine this time. You know, hopefully. I figured I'd start off with the pillars right away, so I'd have plenty of time to slowly pick away at them in the safest way possible. Of course, before I can fight the pillars, I must first take down the Lunatic Cultist, who can be incredibly easy so long as you always hit the right clone, but can become quite dangerous when you slip up. Do it. Wait, when did this get crimsoned? Oh, gosh darn it. I cleansed this so that I wouldn't have to deal with that. Okay, pay attention, pay attention. Okay, oh, that one. And that one. Ooh. Oh. Okay. That hardly did any damage. I'm fine, I'm fine. Ooh, okay. Oh. Okay, whew. Easy, boss. Easy. Oh. There we go. Okay. We're fine. There we go. Oh, get out. All right, we want to go to solar first. Solar's on our left. All right, let's go do that right away. The solar pillar. Largely regarded as one of the most dangerous pillars by large portions of the Terraria community. Personally, I find it to be the second easiest of the pillars, and I'm sure there's plenty of Terraria veterans who feel the same, or might even say it's the easiest one. It's an interesting pillar in that knowing one single trick makes all the difference when fighting the thing. Unlike what I did right here, you need to stay on the ground. Crawltipedes are very fast and turn sharp corners, making them incredibly difficult to dodge once they've locked onto their target. However, you can avoid this targeting altogether by simply staying on the ground. This can be quite difficult for certain builds that lack knockback, but also because there are two enemies in particular that you become quite vulnerable to when you lock yourself to the ground. First is the Korite. These floating enemies move through blocks and ignore most of all knockback. This means that when you pin yourself to the ground, they become incredibly hard to dodge. Oftentimes, jumping or flying is your only option for escape. Then comes an enemy on nobody's radar, but they're just as dangerous as the legendary jungle killer, the Tortoise. This enemy is the Scroller, a name I've never heard before, and the one enemy I found myself fearing more than any other. These guys are pretty unassuming most of the time, but when they roll up into a ball, they'll launch themselves at you, once again ignoring just about all knockback. The damage from these things is staggering, and due to them not appearing to be a threat at first, their attacks would often sneak up on me. Crawltipedes, the enemy generally thought to be the biggest issue, is so large that it's easy to keep an eye on them and be aware of when to stay out of the skies. But another bipedal solar dude, like all the other ones, does not stand out enough to be a noticeable threat. I know this may be a strangely deep dive into the solar pillar, but this hardcore run was quickly teaching me where the true threats lie. I usually go into solar only thinking about the Crawltipedes, as I'm sure most Terraria veterans do, but I quickly learned the counterplay the Scroller and the Korite run against those of us who stick close to the earth. In a previous run, I accidentally found out that having a pillar of dirt can help cheese this thing massively, but that only worked because there was a dirt column inside the pillar's range, and I'm not going to try and build one of those while actively being attacked. This has taught me quite a renewed appreciation for the solar pillar. New players will struggle against this thing greatly, and every time I take this thing on, I am reminded of my early days with the game, constantly dying to the solar pillar, not knowing the secret to the crawltipede. It makes sense so many people struggle with this one, because once you know, and it becomes a bit easier, but if you don't know, it's brutal. And it makes me curious what I might learn when dealing with the other pillars, and I'm going to talk about them as well. I learned a strategy during a secret run I did a while ago, the video for which will come out this year probably, but who's to say? It was a collaboration, okay, I'm waiting. But anyways, the strategy was to, once the pillar shield fell, to use a weapon with infinite or very long range outside of the pillar's radius to kill the thing. This way I'm not running any risk other than the part where I flew on over to place a few Nimbus clouds because killing it with a chain gun and nano bullets was taking too long, but it mostly avoids the dangers. Solar pillar down, I made the daybreak, and with 57 platinum in hand, I got to reforging. I am looking for that legendary modifier, the best modifier available for melee weapons. I kept on getting superior and godly, which are great and all, but I want legendary. I was reduced to 19 platinum before I gave up on this venture. Yeah, 38 platinum sunk into this weapon just to not get the modifier I was after. And as it would turn out,
no way, you can't be legendary? No way, you're kidding. I thought it could get, what? For sure you could get on legendary. Oh, I just wasted so much money.
Before we continue, if you've been enjoying the video, be sure to subscribe. At the end of the year, I'll be firing 1 mini nuke 2 from this rocket launcher at year's end for every subscriber I have. So if you want to claim your mini nuke 2 and support long-form challenges like this, consider subscribing. Now that my bank account has been emptied, it's time to head on over to our next pillar, largely regarded as the easiest by new and veteran players alike, the Stardust Pillar. I went to this pillar next so I could have the Stardust Dragon for the other two pillars, which are the hardest ones in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to try and make the argument that Stardust is actually the hardest pillar, but low invaders can be a serious problem. I am constantly forgetting that they shoot their little baby invaders prior to their death, and those things are quite dangerous. That on top of Milky Weavers that ignore knockback and are almost as fast and agile as crawltipedes, there are some real threats from Stardust, and I found myself lower on health than I ever was when taking on Solar.
Oh, right, potions.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! I would even need to stand aside after killing the enemies and use the shiny stone to quickly recover my lost health on several occasions. The thing about the Stardust Pillar that makes it the easiest though would be the Stardust cells, of course. Even if you don't know the cheesing strategy for them, these things are easy fodder. And if you don't know the cheese, if you kill a star cell, it breaks into several chunks. If you allow these to regenerate, then killing a regenerated one will also count towards breaking the shield. So you could feasibly take down the pillar while only killing star cells. There's two problems I'll often face when attempting this though. Either I'll do so much damage that I constantly kill the cells on accident before they regenerate, or else I'll deal so little damage that I can't stop them from regenerating and end up being swarmed. It's definitely something where in hardcore you want to be certain you have the power to clear these things out if you end up with a large group of them. The weird thing is though, I was using the Daybreak figuring it was my best weapon, but then I found the damage output lower than expected, so I switched to the Flying Dragon. To my surprise, I found it to perform better in most situations. For one, it's easier to aim, and any weapon will be more effective when you can actually hit the target. It also pierces and has a good debuff, even if it's not nearly as good as the debuff of the Daybreak. The Daybreak does have an explosive effect, which can be great against crowds and does extra against single targets, I'm pretty sure, but overall, the Flying Dragon felt much more useful against the pillar enemies. Maybe the sword really is a tad bit too strong. I made the Stardust Dragon, of course, and before fighting any more pillars, it occurred to me I had this worldwide platform, but no heart lanterns or campfires along most of it. Using the tree mount from the Pumpkin Moon, I was certain I could move fast enough to place these passive buffs along the platform, even while running through the pillars. This might not have been the case as much with Stardust or Solar, but Nebula and Vortex, I was able to get around without any problem, and so the entire world had plenty of passive health regen boosters hanging around. Now on to the second most dangerous pillar, to my mind, but my experience with it recently has made me consider lifting it to the #1 spot. This is the Vortex Pillar, and Storm Divers in particular make this one a pain to deal with. Their fast movement and shotgun for a weapon make them tough to dodge. Fast vertical movement is all that's required, but timing their shotgun blasts is often difficult in the heat of the moment, or else when there's more than one of them targeting you. But you cannot ignore the Alien Queen with her ability to inflict one of the game's worst debuffs.
Okay.
One hit from these things and retreating or death are your only two options. Your ability to move vertically is reduced to nothing unless you stop all horizontal movement, and even when you move up or down like this, it's very slow. In fact, this debuff, it would seem, is specifically designed to make you an easy target for the storm divers. Alien Queens are, however, the enemy you want around if you're looking to farm the Vortex Pillar. When Alien Queens die, they drop a few larvae that will grow into Alien Hornets. Hornets can be an easy kill to reduce a pillar shield, but if you leave Hornets alone, you can get more Alien Queens, who will then drop more larvae. Unlike Star Cells, however, they pose a real threat with that aforementioned debuff, and the babies don't explode and hover in the same general area as the adult like Stardust Cells do. Rather, they explode outwards in random directions on the ground, oftentimes making it hard to even find where they landed if you're fighting other enemies as well. This makes it much easier, in my opinion, for Alien Queens to swarm you if you're not careful. Also, this is something I only learned very recently, but you know the shock clouds that'll spawn and shoot lightning at you? Well, those spawn immediately upon killing a Vortexian. I had never put those two things together, and knowing that makes it at least easier to know when I'll have to dodge. After a few scares, I took down the Vortex Pillar and crafted a Vortex Beater, a great weapon to have on hand in case I need to really run far away from Moonlord. And now, this is the part where I was faced with quite the dilemma. In the last several episodes, I've been collecting pieces of the Zenith crafting recipe, thinking I'll try to make it, and because of my awful luck, I can't expect Moonlord to drop both swords on the first kill. This means I'll want to kill him sooner rather than later so I have time to farm. At the same time, I'm sure some of you watching this would see me kill Moonlord and think, oh, guess he's won, it's over now, and decide to leave, and I need that sweet, sweet retention. I had considered waiting until near the end of these 10 hours before beating the last pillar and Moonlord, but I'm itching to do it right now, and who's to say how much more farming will have to take place after this fact. I might have to take on the pillars again, so here's the deal. I'm going to fight Nebula Pillar right now and challenge Moonlord, but you're not allowed to leave, okay? You're locked in. Keep in mind, too, I need 100 hours to actually beat the challenge, not just kill Moonlord. So I might still die even after beating the final boss. Okay, now that you're obviously agreeing to my terms, I switched to the Unicorn mount, which I will be using instead of the branch against Moonlord. The Unicorn is faster than Moonlord, but not so fast he'll be teleporting a bunch to keep up, so yes, it's slow, but I think it's better for this fight, making it more predictable. This brings me to what has been my most feared pillar for quite a while, Nebula. I tried using the Daybreak for a while, but then ended up switching to the Flying Dragon. I wanted to believe the Daybreak was better, but the Flying Dragon was both easier to use and seemed to do more damage, so guess I didn't really need the Daybreak at all, or the 30+ platinum I put into it. I'm still keeping it though. It was at least supposed to be one of the best free Moonlord weapons. Now, Nebula Pillar is interesting because the Brain Sucklers are incredibly easy fodder. The Evolution Beasts, and whatever the name of the standing things are, also are not the hardest to deal with. It's mostly the floating eyes that make the pillar difficult. Their large health pools, constant teleporting, and hard to see lasers make them one of the worst pillar enemies to deal with in my opinion. Lately, I've gotten better at reading and dodging them, but there aren't any real good strategies for dealing with them. One problem I often have with Nebula is the little spheres the Evolution Beasts shoot. They do high damage and home. They are also slow moving, which somehow makes them more dangerous because the slow movement makes your eyes less likely to notice the motion. There are times I'll be standing still and one of these will sneak up and hit me, dealing damage several times over without me even knowing what's happening. Keeping an eye out for these things is imperative. I also learned that Brain Sucklers can't go through platforms, so if these enemies do cause a problem for you, place a bunch of platforms over your head and they won't be nearly as much of a problem. I just can't promise that the other enemies won't then become more of an issue.
Get out, get out, get out. Get out, get out, get out. Okay.
After some struggling, I took down Nebula Pillar. So now Moonlord is going to spawn whether I want him to or not. No, I'm not ready for this. Come on, spawn. There it is. All right, let's go.
There you are. All right, there's the central eye. Slow down. Focus on it. Land and fly. There we go. Hit it again. All right, and start running.
Okay. We're doing good. We're doing good already. We're doing good. Feeling good. All right, there's the eye. Hit it. All right, and fly. Woo, the Sky Island. Oh my goodness, I built that in the sky so it would be out of the way. All right, we gotta get far away from that so we don't run into an issue with it again. And here it comes. Okay, we'll keep going this direction so we don't hit that Sky Island again. I guess there's some other Sky Islands too. Oh, I should have removed all of those. I really just should have. Land and fly. Okay, hit it hard, hit it hard. Oh wow, this side needs some damage. There it is. Yeah, that one desperately needs some damage dealt to it. Okay. Comes any second now. There it is. I just realized I have that equipped. There we go. Okay. Now we're better. Now we have infinite flight. Now we're fine. We won't have to worry about that. Okay, but we want to be careful with that hand. We don't want to pop with that hand. Oh, we just did. Right, I have infinite flight now. We're fine. We're fine. We have infinite flight. Okay, there goes that eye. Now we just need to hard focus this one. Where are you? There you are. Okay. We got this. We got this. Getting far enough away from the true eyes of Cthulhu. Feeling good damage. Almost popped it. We still have plenty of health. All right, there it goes. All right, it's just the core now. Need to get him into view here. Come on. Doing damage? Not really. Oh, ouch. Okay. Okay, we're still fine. We're fine on health. All right. Oh, over those. Okay. There we go. We keeping on him at a perfect distance. Oh, yes. All right. Here, let's use this. Maybe this will do more damage. Oh my goodness, that is so much better. That is doing so much better than the Daybreak. What the heck? I thought... the Flying Dragon! Man, this is a good sword. Oh, I'm in the Sky Islands. Oh, I should go down... Oh, this is just kind of a low Sky Island. That's the problem. Okay, I should remove all the Sky Islands before doing this again so I don't accidentally bump into one and die. Okay. Let's go! Hardcore Master Mode has officially been beat! It's been beat! Let's go! But remember our agreement, you gotta stay here, alright? We're gonna do some farming. Let's go! And so we've actually beat Hardcore Master Mode. But not 100 hours of it. We still actually have quite a bit of time left and I'm not out of danger yet. For now, I opened up the treasure bag and sure enough, there wasn't a single sword. There was the Rainbow Crystal Staff, which is one of my favorites, and the Celebration, which is good and all, but I need the swords for the Zenith. I reforged the Starboard to Armored because I was, low on money after the whole Daybreak thing, and I have been wasting way too much money on the gosh darn Goblin Tinkerer. I could have made a few Celestial Sigils, but instead I wanted to fight the pillars again right off the bat. I'm going to need more solar fragments for the armor, so I don't think there would be a point in farming Moonlord when I couldn't really use the Luminite he dropped. So to get the pillars again, I fought the Lunatic Cultist once more, having a second perfect battle against him, despite having the endgame credits in the way the entire time. This is really making me want the option to turn these things off. They were legitimately a problem and would block my view of the cultist while I fought him, but I guess I should have just waited. Why do you vex me, Relogic team? This brings me to the unsavory task of killing the pillars once more, and I have next to no new gear. I do have the sentry, which is quite helpful, and the pillars only take half as long to destroy. This definitely made me a bit overly confident, and not as worried about dying as I should have been. I even forgot to drink my many potions. These oversights are the exact thing that ends hardcore runs every single time.
That took way too long for me to react to that. If I look back to the footage, oh my goodness. I probably just got lucky with a dodge there. I probably was dead. See? Your Moonlord doesn't mean that you win.
Sure enough, looking back at the footage, I had gotten incredibly lucky with the dodge. considering how much damage crawltipedes do and how low on health I was. If I had not gotten that dodge, I would be dead. If I did not have increased invincibility from the cross necklace, the entire run would have ended right there. This whole 100 hours challenge would have come to a close after having beaten Moonlord. I could have even left the game running in the background and done nothing after killing Moonlord, but no, here I am, trying to check even more boxes. Fears renewed, I continued, taking down the Stardust Pillar. I moved on to Vortex, and if you haven't noticed already, the pillars spawn in the exact same locations as they had last time, which is kind of convenient. I actually used the Celebration a little bit for Vortex, curious if it was still good even without a Ranger build, and was surprised of just how viable the rocket launcher is with a melee build. If nothing else, it's great for crowd control. This brings me to the Nebula Pillar, and remember how I said I often struggle to see the Evolution Beast's little homing orbs?
Oh, what? What's hitting me? Oh, there it is. Oh my goodness.
Dying to that would have been a little embarrassing, but I took down the pillar and Moonlord spawned in for the second time.
Moonlord down 2 times. Will we actually get one of the swords?
Did I get a sword? Yes, actually, I got one. I then crafted solar armor, but was confused by something. I checked the buff from the shield when it was fully charged, and it only gives me 30% damage reduction. I equipped the beetle armor, which only has 5 less base defense than solar, but it gives a 45% damage reduction buff. I was shocked. Does this mean beetle armor is better than solar? Well, depending on the circumstances, I'd argue yes. The thing with beetle armor is that the buff degrades every time you get hit, going from 45 to 30 to 15 after every hit. Solar, meanwhile, remains a steady 30. So solar is better if you're getting hit more often. It also benefits from dealing damage to enemies who touch you. However, if you are not being hit frequently, then the beetle armor is the obvious choice. So long as there's enough of a break between hits that the third beetle will regenerate, you'll maintain a constant 45% damage reduction. Even if you don't do great, and often only have 2 beetles, you will still benefit from the 30% damage reduction solar would give. I stuck with solar though because it grants 3 minor increases to regen, which probably makes it better in the end, but it's definitely more designed for those who are taking more hits. Like if you were dodging well enough to have the 45% damage reduction with beetle armor, you wouldn't need all this increased regen. But I guess solar also gives you more of a damage increase. Now, I still need the Meowmere, so I made a few sigils and got to killing the final boss of the game over and over. The starboard really does make Moonlord a whole lot easier to deal with, which I know is probably the purpose, but infinite flight that can zip around in all directions except down is really handy when fighting the Moonlord. The first one didn't drop the sword, so I tried it again and still had no luck. I did get another Star Wrath, which I was hoping would be shimmerable into the Meowmere, but I had no shimmerable? I had no luck. That brought me to 4 Moonlords, and I was out of fragments with my last sigil. To my relief, the 5th Moonlord dropped the Meowmere.
That probably be the last boss relic. This is probably every boss we will kill this run. We've done it. We have done it. At long last, I made the Zenith in 100 hours of hardcore master mode and decided to try and reforge it to legendary. That's a lot of money. Legendary, yes! Yes! Finally got lucky on a reforge. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, game.
You want to know the funny part? I'm only at 92 hours, but I knew plenty of you wouldn't stick around if most of this video was me burning time. So we're just going to go over the highlights of the final 8 hours. I wanted to make a little bit of a trophy build or what have you, and I wanted to use Ethereum blocks since you can only get those en masse after acquiring the bottomless shimmer bucket post Moonlord. After harvesting the stuff, I created this thing. I'm not sure exactly what it is or what it represents, but it looks kind of alright and it will signify my victory. With most of my time after that thing, I thought I'd give a crack at purifying the world of the Crimson. I won't clean the hollow because I didn't stop its spread nearly as much as the Crimson, and a whole bunch of the hollow is in the underground desert, and I don't care if I have endgame gear. Dune splicers will still murder me. the only way that's getting purified is by destroying the entire desert from afar with the celebration. Oh wait, actually, wait a minute. That's actually kind of a fun idea. But that hadn't occurred to me yet. I started by using the drill containment unit to make uniform tunnels along the Crimson, with each tunnel being in view of the other. So that way, there should be no room for error. I worked on purifying the Crimson, but sure enough, at the end of it all, there is still 1% Crimson somewhere in the world. No idea where. I searched all over, made sure the Sky Islands were purified, mined corrupt sand in the underworld, nothing seemed to work. The pirates did spawn naturally for the first time though, because I accidentally destroyed 3 Crimson altars while making the tunnels for purification. Yes, if you don't remember or missed it, I didn't break a single altar until right now. So I decided to give up on the purification because I'm not working on all of that. Instead, I decided I would actually use that whole rocket launcher purification method and started blowing up the underground hollow desert. And it went pretty well. And something's kind of satisfying is seeing this massive hole in the desert now. And I even also thought it would be really cool to get the dirtiest block. I have never once gotten this block. And there's probably, I think, what, 3 or 5 in this world? It's a large world. I think it's 3 or 5 for large. So I figured I would start destroying a bunch of dirt, see what happens. And to my surprise, I actually got the dirtiest block. And not very long. It actually didn't take very long, but I still had to use the celebration for it, okay? But I got the dirtiest block for the first time in my life, and it's so fun. Wait. Ah! I found it! Hey! But that just about wraps things up. To finish the last bits of my time, I decided to make the killing chamber. Because you see, with hardcore, I think it's really fun ending it with a simple death. It'll become a tradition if I continue doing hardcore. I think I'll continue doing. Something about it is very satisfying. Making a final build, something that's very nice, that holds the entirety of what I use throughout the game. My best accessories and armor, the things that I collected, the treasure chests that hold all the many tools I carried with me throughout this entire run. It will forever serve as a monument to this great achievement of 100 hours in Terraria Hardcore Master Mode. And so the world finally comes to an end. 100 hours of hardcore. I actually did it. Hardcore Master. Oh, I can't. This is awesome. I never thought I'd actually beat Hardcore Master Mode. And we even beat every single boss. We spent 100 hours in it. We took things to the next level. So, time to say goodbye. Forgot I had a second build. Well, there goes all my fishing stuff. That's kind of unfortunate. Ooh. Ooh. Oh man, I lost all my fishing gear. At least I don't have the thing of balloons. Wait, what's this blue thing? Oh man. It even takes a while to get the lava-proof tackle bag. Now I'm gonna lose that. Oh, dang it. Oh, this is liberating. This is freeing dying. Oh, this feels... this actually genuinely feels like a massive weight is now off my shoulders. And I can look back on this now and reminisce. Oh man, now I'm feeling all nostalgic for this challenge. Oh man, all the things that were done. Dang. Now I'm sad I'm dead, but also I'm quite happy. Look at all the bosses we beat! All of these! Yes, awesome.